Wizard by Jack Prelusky. The wizard watchful waits alone within his tower of cold grey stone, and ponders in his wicked way what evil deeds he'll do this day. He's tall and thin, with wrinkled skin. A tangled beard hangs from his chin. His cheeks are gaunt, his eyes set deep. He scarcely eats, he needs no sleep. His fingers wave arcane commands, 10 bony sticks on withered hands. His flowing cloak is smirched with grime. He's worn it since the dawn of time. Upon his hat in silver lines are pictured necromantic signs, symbols of the awesome power of the wizard alone in his cold stone tower. He scans his mystic stock in trade, charms to fetch a demon's aid, seething stews of purplish potions, throbbing thaumaturgic lotions, supernatural tracts and tomes, replete with lore of elves and gnomes, talismans, amulets, willowy wand, to summon spirits from beyond. He spies a bullfrog by the door, and stooping scoops it off the floor. He flicks his wand, the frog's a flea, through elemental sorcery. The flea hops once, the flea hops twice, the flea becomes a pair of mice that dive into a bubbling brew, emerging as one cockatoo. The wizard laughs a hollow laugh, the soaking bird's reduced by half, and when perplexed it starts to squawk, the wizard turns it into chalk, with which he deftly writes a spell that makes the chalk a silver bell, which tinkles in the ashen air, till flash, a fire burns brightly there. He gestures with an ancient knack to try to bring the bullfrog back. Another flash, no flame now burns, as once again the frog returns. And when it bounds about in fear, the wizard shouts, "Be gone from here!" And midway through a frightened croak, it vanishes in clouds of smoke. The wizard smirks a fiendish smirk, reflecting on the woes he'll work, as he consults a dusty text and checks which hex he'll conjure next. He may pluck someone off the spot and turn him into who knows what. Should you encounter a toad or lizard, look closely. It may be the work of the wizard. Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Swift Things Are Beautiful by Elizabeth Coatsworth. Swift things are beautiful, swallows and deer, and lightning that falls, bright veined and clear. Rivers and meteors, wind in the wheat, the strong withered horse, the runner's sure feet. and slow things are beautiful. The closing of day, the pause of the wave that curves downward to spray, the ember that crumbles, the opening flower, and the ox that moves on in the quiet of power. Song of the Witches by William Shakespeare. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble, fillet of a fenny snake in the cauldron boil and bake, eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog, adder's fork and blind worm's sting, lizard's leg and howlet's wing, for a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth boil and bubble. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble, cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good. Arithmetic by Carl Sandburg. Arithmetic is where numbers fly, like pigeons in and out of your head. Arithmetic tells you how many you lose or win, if you know how many you had before you lost or won. Arithmetic is 7 and 11, all good children go to heaven, or 5, 6, bundle of sticks. Arithmetic is numbers you squeeze from your head to your hand to your pencil to your paper till you get the right answer. If you have 2 animal crackers, one good and one bad, and you eat one, and a striped zebra with streaks all over him eats the other, how many animal crackers will you have if somebody offers you 5, 6, 7, and you say, no, 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 and you say, nay, 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 and you say, nix, nix, nix? If you ask your mother for 1 fried egg for breakfast, and she gives you 2 fried eggs, and you eat both of them, who is better in arithmetic, you or your mother? Introduction to Songs of Innocence by William Blake. Piping down the valleys wild, piping songs of pleasant glee, on a cloud I saw a child, and he, laughing, said to me, pipe a song about a lamb, so I piped with merry cheer. Piper, pipe that song again, so I piped, he wept to hear. Drop thy pipe, thy happy pipe, sing thy songs of happy cheer, so I sang the same again, while he wept with joy to hear. Piper, sit thee down and write in a book that all may read. So he vanished from my sight, and I plucked a hollow reed, and I made a rural pen, and I stained the water clear, and I wrote my happy songs every child may joy to hear. The Train Dogs by E. Pauline Johnson. Out of the night and the north, savage of breed and of bone, shaggy and swift comes the yelping band, freighters of fur from the voiceless land that sleeps in the Arctic zone. Laden with skins from the north, beaver and bear and raccoon, marten and mink from the polar belts, otter and ermine and sable pelts, the spoils of the hunter's moon. Out of the night and the north, sinewy, fearless, and fleet, urging the pack through the pathless snow, the Indian driver, calling low, follows with moccasined feet. Ships of the night and the north, freighters on prairies and plains, carrying cargoes from field and flood, they scent the trail through the wild red blood, the wolfish blood in their veins. The Raggedy Man by James Whitcomb Riley. Oh, the Raggedy Man, he works for Pa, and he's the goodest man ever you saw. He comes to our house every day and waters the horses and feeds 'em hay. And he opens the shed and we all is laugh when he drives out our little old wobbly calf. And then if our hired girl says he can, he milks the cow for Elizabeth Ann. Ain't he an awful good Raggedy Man? Raggedy, raggedy, raggedy man. Why, the Raggedy Man, he is so good, he splits the killing and chops the wood. And then he spades in our garden, too. He does most things that boys can't do. He climbed clean up our big tree and shook the apple down for me. And northern, too, for Elizabeth Ann, and northern, too, for the Raggedy Man. Ain't he a awful kind of Raggedy Man? Raggedy, raggedy, raggedy man. And the Raggedy Man, he knows most rhymes and tells 'em if I be good sometimes, knows about giant and griffins and elves and the squiddermen and squeeze and the squallows themselves. And right up the pump in our pasture lot, he showed me the hole that the wonks he got, and lives way down deep in the ground and can turn into me, old Elizabeth Ann. Ain't he a funny old Raggedy Man? Raggedy, raggedy, raggedy man. The Raggedy Man, one time when he was making a little bow and arrow for me, says, when you're a lot big like your pa is, and you go to keep a fine store like his, and be a rich merchant and wear fine clothes, or whatever you go to be, goodness knows. And then he laughed at Elizabeth Ann, and I says, go to be a Raggedy Man. I'm just going to be a nice Raggedy Man. Raggedy, raggedy, raggedy man.